Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Machakos County is where we're at, and debate is the name of the game. Welcome to this wonderful 5th season of the Great Debaters Contest. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. We're asking the question, is the abolition of the school ranking system responsible for the deteriorating Kenyan education? In this motion, we have Muthale Girls and St. Angela's. Who will be the greater?
The first proposer, you have 3 minutes.
I'll begin by quoting from the Bible. Psalms chapter 139, verse 16 says, "We are all beautifully and wonderfully made by the Lord." And also from Genesis, we see that we are all made in the same image and likeness. My name is Lillian Patience, and I propose the motion that the abolition of school ranking has led to the deterioration of the Kenyan education. School ranking refers to whereby we merit students by their academic ability, whereby we have the best and the one who didn't do as totally as expected of the rest. That's what we refer to as school ranking. And abolishing it, we mean that you've removed it, scrapped it out of the system. So one thing, ranking helps us to identify specific strengths and weaknesses of students. Since you can tell, am I weaker in biology, or am I weaker in physics, geography? Even as a school, you can know why you're going wrong. And by that, you'll be able to improve yourselves. But with the abolition, since Jacob Kaimenyi in 2013 abolished it, ever since then, the only thing we've seen is that among students, people no longer want to know where did I go wrong. Schools never go back to the drawing board to see what is it that they've done wrong. They don't do that. And at the end of the day, each and every student will be affected, since nothing will be done to improve their grades. And what will happen after that? Also, we had unity and co-inhabitance among schools. With the ranking system, we saw that schools were promoted to want to do better. So every time they see, oh, this school did better than me, let me go and see what is it that they're doing better. It's just like in a wolf pack. There's the alpha, there's the omega, and there's the beta. The beta and the omega always want to strive to kill the alpha so that they can be the pack leader. And that's the same with schools. We want to see what is it that the alphas do better. What is it that they do that makes them so recognized? That is what we want to know, and we adopt from their system. And after that, we go and use it in our schools, and our education improves. We become better people and a better nation. Also, with the school ranking, we'll see that students will be more appreciated. One good deed deserves another. And also, we quote from a Kiswahili proverb, "Mtaka cha mvunguni sharti ainame." You'll know that so that I can get a better opportunity in my life. We've seen foundations such as Equity, which was started by James Mwangi. All those allow students who perform well but don't have the funds to be supported, to gain a better education. But without school ranking, how do we identify these best students? It's just like in our previous debate, we've heard of Kenya being number 139 out of 145. Therefore, identify Kenya needs to improve itself when it comes to corruption cases. It's the same way with us. If we do that, we'll know where to go wrong. We'll know what we need to support, what we need to do. And at the end of the day, I think school ranking should be brought back and second thoughts made. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to give your opening statements.
I salute you all. I'm Charity Muthale from St. Angela's Girls. School ranking, it is listing of schools due to a record of performance. And deterioration, it is a state of being worse, or going to a state of being worse, yes, worsening. And abolition, it is to do away with. That thing is there no more. And we, as the opposers, we stand and say that worsening of Kenyan education is not about the existence or the non-existence of school ranking. First, we know that there is two parallel systems of education in Kenya, the 844 system and the Cambridge system. And the Cambridge system is expensive and the 844 system is cheaper. And let me ask you a question, my audience. If the Cambridge system was made free today, who wouldn't go for that Cambridge system? And as you know, because we have this Cambridge system and the 844 system, the Cambridge system is much far ahead than the 844 system. And so there's no uniformity or harmony in the two systems. And haven't most of us in this hall gone to the 844 system? And also, we know that there are other school-based factors like the commencement of learning. And we know as teaching time saves 9. There are some schools which start their learning the first week of opening, and others start their learning second week on opening. And I want to quote something Hostin said. He said, time is not free, and time isn't really free, and it is a precious commodity that we should utilize well. So, when the schools do not use their time well, like they start learning at the second week of the term, they're wasting a lot of time. And that factor leads to the deterioration of Kenyan school education. Because and time wasted is never recovered. As any of you in this hall, any person who has ever tried to recover wasted time? No, that is impossible. We also have the exam-oriented nature of the Kenyan education system is also a factor. And this means students are being turned into robots, and schools are being turned into intensive cramming units. And I stress on that, intensive cramming unit. You find that students, they just cram to pass their exams, and they don't read so that they may be better people at the society. And this cramming is at the expense of their life skills. So I want you, my audience, I would like to request you to join my team and I in opposing the motion that the abolition of school ranking causes deterioration of Kenyan education. Thank you.
Time now for rebuttals. Second proposer, you have 3 minutes.
History has shown that at the beginning of every major revival, there's been a fast realization of mankind's procrastination. My name is Vanessa Malinga, and I'm here to propose the motion that the abolition of school ranking has led to the deterioration of the education system. I'd like to challenge my fellow debater. When you say that the students from Cambridge and from the 844 system have unequal facilities or education systems, why? Why exactly? Because both the students from Cambridge and the 844 system go to the same universities, they both get the same jobs, so why should ranking be abolished? It doesn't make sense. And also, with the abolition of ranking has come to the demoralization of teachers and students. Teachers have become lax. They don't think it's enough. They don't think you have to go and give the students extra exams. The students don't need to do extra revision. They're lax, they're demoralized. And why is that? They don't get rewards. We all want rewards. It's our right to get a reward. We all want the fame, the glory, to appear on TV, to appear on the internet, in newspapers. That's my name. You want your parent to recognize you, to keep the newspaper in like a file or folder. We want that. Also, with the abolition of ranking has come to the deterioration of the competition. There is no competition. Competition is natural. It's in children, it's in adults. So we need competition. And the school ranking is giving us this competition. This competition gives us the progress. We're able to see where we're going to be in 2030. Our education system, is it improving? Because we need our education system to be the best education system in the world. Also, we have gender parity. Gender parity is whereby we need to see that the girls and the boys are going to school. The school ranking is telling us that the girls are taking KCSE, the girls are taking KCPE, they're getting their A's, their B's, their A minuses, they're going somewhere in their lives. It empowers the boy and the girl child. With abolition of school ranking, the government is unable to see if there are students who are bright and intelligent and they can increase the brain level of the Kenyan citizens. The government needs to help these children to go to big schools, to go to big universities. The government needs to see this. That's why with school ranking, they're able to see this and take these students to another level of education and give this country the brain, the skill, and the manpower they need. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal as well.
Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Achieng. And first and foremost, I have an argument to place according to what my opponent said. First and foremost, we get to compete, yes, when we are ranking our schools, but we want a driven Kenya, a Kenya where even if we are not watching, even if we don't know who number one is, even if we don't know who number last is, we want a Kenya where everybody will be working whether or not you're being watched. So we don't necessarily need to rank. Why should we lower ourselves to such standards that we just have to be watched so that we can work? Do we really have to be watched? Yet again, I'm thinking about this. When we have ranking, we have these students who performed very well in their KCPE examinations. We don't know what factors drove them to perform very well in this examination. But now that is done, that is said and done, they did well. Yes, we are done with that. But we need to balance schools. We need to have students going to all schools in this country. We need to have everybody getting an equal opportunity in education. Don't you agree? Don't you agree that every student in Kenya is entitled to the same level of education? Yet again, when we think about it, they're saying that the better student gets to go to the better school. Can't we just take the student who doesn't appear to be the best right now and help them move up by taking them to a good school? Therefore, all schools get to be balanced when we are not ranking. When we are not ranking, all the schools get equal opportunities. Don't you agree? The two different systems of education, we get to, they imply a double standard in the education standards of Kenya. They imply a double standard whereby we're not giving them the exact same content. We're not giving the student who is going for 844 and the one who's going for Cambridge the exact same content. We want a Kenya where everybody should get the same content rather than just being busy looking at whether we are ranking, whether we are not ranking, we were the best, we were the worst. That doesn't matter. We want a Kenya where everybody gets an equal opportunity, where everybody gets better chances of being better and performing very well. And then we also have issues like the school-based factors, like in the study carried out by Professor Eshiwani, the late. He proved that a lot of schools wound up wasting a lot of time after opening of schools and starting learning in the second week or maybe even the third. They are delaying this, they are procrastinating the syllabus. Yet we can have them doing better once we look at other standards, other issues that we're not looking at. Come on, we're not looking at these things that are making our students fail. We agree the education system in Kenya is deteriorating, but are we looking at why it's deteriorating? Come on, are we really looking at it? Thank you.
When I am down, I have M-Pesa, siwezi sota, sitaeseka, hata kwa show, sitaibika, natuma tu, via M-Pesa, via M-Pesa, via M-Pesa.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The question for the proposers: are we learning to be ranked? And for the opposers, how are we supposed to acknowledge the upcoming schools in the rural areas? The third proposer.
They say when the going gets tough, only the tough get going. I'm Christine Kurera from Muthale Girls. As my fellow debater on the audience side asked me, are we learning to be graded? First, have this in mind. Do not confuse the word grading and the word ranking. Therefore, we learn to be ranked but not grading. Grading, if I can give you an explanation, is to arrange people or a thing in a group according to their ability, quality, and size. While ranking is the positioning of somebody or something on a scale that shows how good or important they are in relation to the similar people or things. And this I say because due to the ranking, people have been, as my fellow colleagues have said, they have been moralized, they have been instilled in them the ability to compete. Now you tell me if we're not being ranked right now, even if you view in your skills, how many students have ranked? Though it may not be me, but some people have relaxed, knowing that at the end of it, I will not have that honor. I will not have that appreciation from the people. People who are not able and willing, people who are not able to face their problems, or people who are not able to further their studies need this ranking system. In what way? They'll be instilled in them that competition moral in them, so that can enable them to work even harder, to be at the top, to be recognized. We're not saying to be seen on the TV just for the sake of it. We've been seen to be seen on the TV so that one can get, maybe for example, sponsorship from the trustees or the other people that can be able to further people's education. So have this in mind this day, that grading and ranking are two and different things. Thank you so much.
Okay, the opposition, you also have 3 minutes to answer the audience questions.
Mercy Kilonzi from St. Angela's Girls. In regard to the question on how are we supposed to acknowledge the upcoming schools in rural areas, at first, in these areas, these schools do not have facilities at all. And if a school lacks facilities, how do you expect it to go about posting high results? Is that not a way of making them? They will obviously post low results. A student, for example, in Makini High School and another one in Wajir. The one in Makini has facilities. That's why these students will offer good results. And another one in Wajir, as you all know, it's a rural place, a place with no facilities at all. The high percentage, the results will be posted, which the results posted by these students will be low. So the probability of them being acknowledged, first and foremost, offer them with facilities as education authorities. The worsening states of our Kenyan education is a result of, it's as a result of factors. One base factor, as I've already said, are resources offered. If, for example, a student has resources, the class is so conducive, and another one is just shifting from this place to this place. Do you really expect them to perform highly? No. This difference is what is bringing about the low standards of our education system. Another factor is on the point of policies and curriculums. The change of policies and curriculums in our Kenyan education. Just for example, the Cabinet Secretary of Education, the Cabinet Secretary of Education, Jacob Kemenyi, directives on scrubbing of ranking, and another factor that students reporting to school at 7:15 a.m. Surely, if a student has to report to school at this time, while the saying goes, the early bird catches the worm, do you really expect these students to perform well? If these students report to school late, obviously no good results will be posted. So this change of curriculum are the factors that are bringing about low standards in our education system. And as a result of this, we have the Secretary General of NAT. He threatened to post a strike on 1st June 2015. I guess you all know the results of a strike. Have you ever seen a strike last for 1 day or two? No. A week or two. And this is time wasted. If time is wasted, it will never be recovered. If there was no, the strike would not be there if these changes in curriculum and policies will not have been posted. First and foremost, you are all members in this house. Haven't you not gone through the 844 system. This system and the Cambridge system, there is no uniformity and it does not create harmony. So, thank you for listening to me.
We'll now get closing submissions from both teams, beginning with the proposition. You have a minute.
There is one man that I respect so much, and his name is Francis Bacon. And he said, we don't need to contradict or confute, not to believe or take for granted, not to find talk and discourse, but to weigh and consider. And he still said, studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. If we want to better ourselves, we must be ready to sacrifice the simple things that we have. It's just like you as an investor. If you want to make big investments, you need big capital. So you have to save. So that means you have to cut off your expenses. Just the same way with schools. If we want to excel, it doesn't mean that you have to sleep the whole day. Wake up. Get out of bed, go to class, read your books, and you'll gain a good life. So that when you retire, you won't have to every day walk around asking your child, would you please help me with some money to do this? No, you're independent, and you can do whatever you need. Thank you.
Opposition, you also have a minute.
Charity Muthale here again. So in order to curb the current falling of the Kenyan education system, a range of measures should be put in place by the education authorities. And these measures, they should not be limited to the existence or the non-existence of school ranking. And don't you agree that every student needs a beautiful tomorrow, just like the students in Wajir and the others in Makini School? Don't you agree, my audience? And I would like to invite you, all of you, including my judges, my audience, and my fellow opponents. I want you to join us and say that abolition of school ranking is not the cause of deterioration of Kenyan education. Thank you.
You are the direct beneficiaries, or lack of it thereof, of the ranking system. Because as high school students, you have seen what this has done to others and what it has not done. And so whether you are opposing the motion or proposing the motion, I needed to feel the energy, come through. And yet that energy was not exhibited by the two teams.
I thought this is a motion that is very close to you as students, and it is happening. So I expected a lot of engagement to the audience and from yourselves, because this is a subject that is so relevant and so fresh. So I would have to say I'm a little bit disappointed because I did not see that coming out.
We need to see a debate. And when I mean a debate, we mean something more engaging, something that we identify with, something more combative. Lastly, when you talk about deteriorating Kenyan education, my question is, in what way? I think there's a lot of gray areas in the phrase, deteriorating Kenyan education. To the two teams, it was a fair presentation.
St. Angela's, okay, they have 68.2% from the judges, and their opponents have 69.5%. So, Muthale girls are actually the winners of this debate.
So from us at the Great Debaters Contest, I am Austin Nyambok.
I am Mariam Bishar.
See you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.